Hello, my name is Rachel Aylward. I'm studying the MA in Human Rights and Multi-Level Governance at the University of Padova, and I'm participating in the study trip Learning by Experience.
The study trip for me has been so far a roller coaster in terms of meeting people.
And I spoke with local people. I listened to their needs and what is happening here.
For me, the Learning by Experience trip has been, to use a cliche, an absolute roller coaster, because we've had ups and downs. We've seen from every different possible perspective, from the very, very top to the very, very bottom, from people who are affected daily, and then also people who you see and they're living normal lives. They're the same as you and me, and sometimes you can forget the situation on the ground.
I heard another point of view than that which is written in the books and which we study in the university. I heard stories of people who suffer the most and who were jailed.
We met people from the EU delegation, Israeli activists and Palestinian activists, and I think it's great to have an overview of what is happening in Palestine and in Israel in terms of the conflict.
During our first day of trip, we visited the Italian embassy in Tel Aviv, and we met with Gianmarco Macchia and Giulia Calabrese, who explained us the diplomatic relationship between Israel and Italy and gave us an insight of the diplomatic career. Today we're gonna go to Jerusalem, and first of all we're gonna visit the Yad Vashem Museum. Then in the afternoon we're gonna continue our institutional visit by visiting the EU delegation and the Italian consulate in Jerusalem.
During the day, we had a meeting with EU representatives in Jerusalem. They explained us how they're working and what they're doing for Palestinian population. Among all programs which they're doing, for me, the most interesting was about program to reduce poverty in the Palestine. They provide $1.3 million for social help and for Palestinians to help them to survive. They cooperate with different issues like freedom of movement, freedom to water, to have access to the water, and other different things. And for them, it's very important to maintain and protect human rights in Palestine.
We had a visit in the museum Yad Vashem in Jerusalem. It's a museum about the Holocaust, and this visit was really touching for me because it says all the history about the Holocaust since the beginning until the end of the Second World War.
From my personal experience, I think it was interesting to see further about the Israeli point of view of what happened before the Second World War and after the Second World War, and about the history of the Jews. But at the same time, it's paradoxical because obviously you are in a country where there are conflicts, and with all the things that happened, maybe now it's on another level, but you still have violence between Palestine and Israel.
We met with the Italian consulate, General Consulate, Fabio Sokolovic, and with Italian Cooperation, and they explained to us what they do, which programs they are funding, and what Italian Cooperation is doing in Palestine.
I've learned that it's important, the cooperation, not just with the formal authority of a territory, a state, but also with the civil society, with the NGO, and maybe it's the most important issue to keep in mind this, the population perspective, and not just the authorities and institutional perspective.
Today we are meeting with the Ministry of Justice of the Palestinian Authority in the morning, and then we are meeting with two Palestinian NGOs, COSPE and Al-Haq, and in the afternoon we are meeting with Israeli professors.
rely mainly on data that is documented and monitored in the field. So we have 11 field researchers that are scattered in different districts in the West Bank, including 2 staff members in Gaza and East Jerusalem.
We had the amazing chance to meet the Ministry of Justice of Palestinian authorities, and that was the occasion to stress some very important and focal point for them. First thing, we talk about Palestinian refugees that are forced to leave their house because of settlers that are in contrast with international human rights law and the 4th Geneva Convention. Then he also points out how important is the European Union for their cause and international presence. And for the last thing, he thanks us because our presence here is a good way to learn, and it's very important for students of human rights and students of international human rights law to know and to understand the tool to fight the occupation.
Main thing which impressed me the most was Hebron city. For me, it's touched me the most because it's Gas city, and you can walk and see empty streets, empty shops, and people who cannot cross the border and go to their home where they were born.
Israeli visitors, they are allowed to be here. I'm not allowed. Imagine that you are the owner of that house and you are not allowed to visit or live in it anymore because it's a closed military zone. Segregated, colonized, and separated as Palestinians without any equal rights. You have more rights than me here in my own city.
This study trip has been the perfect conclusion of my master in Padova. After 2 years of studying human rights, I had finally the chance to see how human rights work in practice.
I've learned so much. I think it's important to go on the field in order to understand how complicated is the conflict and the situation, and in order to know more about human rights violation and how we can work on them.
The most significant thing I learned during this experience is that you can study something as much as you want, but till you see it with your own eyes, you can't really have a clear view on the issue you've been studying for so long.
One of the most interesting parts of this study trip were visiting a refugee camp. In fact, they are there for almost 40 years now after the occupation. And the guide that is from the local community who guided us there, he said that his grandfather is there for almost 30 years and he still has the key of his old house, and he expects to come back there. So for me it was really touching to know about this, that even though they are in this situation for so long, they still have hope to come back to their homes.
I'm Saed. I will be your tour guide here in that camp. We will talk about different issues and topics about that camp as well. After building that wall, Israel controls 75% of the water that we have. So like we have to buy our stolen water from them, and so to store it in these tanks as well. That's why like we have many tanks. Why is that? Because they only sell it to us once or twice per month, and not as much as we need actually. Only like for washing and for drinking, that's all. Like that's how they control our economy, our agriculture, industries, everything. Another thing, it's easy actually to know where you are. If you are in a Palestinian area or an Israeli area, just look at the roofs. If you see no tanks like these areas, you are in like Israeli area. Why is that? Because they have 24 hours access of the water. And like the funny thing, actually they use motors to reduce the pressure of the water in the pipes, because they have like a high pressure of the water. So like that's the thing here in that camp. Like imagine yourself living in a very crowded place. There is no privacy, there is no space. After all, you will receive like tear gas from that military base every single day. Actually, that's how we live here in that camp.
I got to celebrate my birthday during this trip. We prepared a table in front of a checkpoint in Hebron, and we ate cake and sang some songs.
روح صور يا أنس. Happy birthday to you.
It was a wonderful experience, very peculiar, but also it made me think because I was very happy, but I was standing in front of a symbol of division.
We met with Tayush, which is Arabic for working together. It's a group. We spoke with Guy and Amiel. They are doing project work in the Jordan Valley and in South Hebron Hills, also in East Jerusalem, accompanying the farmers, helping with the infrastructure and a lot of other things that are helping out the people here.
They tackle 3 points. One is the land grabbing, and the second point is infrastructure, and they help in water systems and also electricity. And they also monitor and support demonstrations organized by local people.
They are doing their work as Israelis. The reason for me this was incredible is because these people are to speak with real people who are facing backlash, and one of them just knew he had felt a burning injustice inside of him, and he went against everything that he was being told by his country and is fighting for these things. So to me this was incredible, and we've heard from people on the ground that the work they do is really helping.
They are facing a lot of constraints, both by meeting Israeli people that are against them, and also because Palestinians do not trust them. I really admire them because they're brave. It's not from their own countries, they support another state. And also because they continue when other people, probably families and friends, were against them. So for me it was a very inspiring moment. We are in Bethlehem today, and we will go to the Bethlehem University at the Master in Cooperation and Development. There we will have a workshop, and we will study with different Palestinian students of this master. We will have workshop on children's rights, and also we will work in 4 cases from UNESCO. And then we will go also to the refugee camp that it is here in Bethlehem. Today we leave Bethlehem, and we will start the second part of the study trip, and we will move to Sebastia and to Nablus.
Ciao, first Santos, ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, mio nome è Smaher, io avere fabbrica di sapone, io fabbriche sapone, la migliore sapone di olio di oliva. Io vengo di Nablus, Palestina.
شكرا.
Benvenuto alla fabbrica di sapone.
The best place in Palestine so far is the entire Palestine, because people are very welcoming and very friendly with everyone. And I could say that for now the most beautiful one has been the place where we hide now, and this is Sebastia.
place in Palestine, I think that it's here in Sebastian, because I really love the way in which they try to improve and underline the importance or the beautifulness of this place. The best place for me in Palestine is here in Sebastia, because it's a beautiful town. But the most important for me in this journey, this study trip, was the checkpoint that we saw yesterday, because it was very touchful and meaningful, and we really understood how rights are violated there.
For me, 100% was speaking with Guy, the Israeli activist from Tayush, because to hear his story, I believe in the innate goodness of all people, and the problem is the society. And for this man to speak from his heart and say that he found it upon himself, he found this burning injustice, he knew that something was wrong, and he took it upon himself to study, and he sacrificed so much personally, and really everybody has an incredible opinion of him. So to go against the grain in this manner, to me it reminded me that there are some incredible people, and that we really do need to have faith in the people on the ground, and that they have trust in them, that they can make the difference. This was incredible for me, really, really moving, and helps to restore your faith in humanity.
So yesterday we arrived here, and now we are at a Smooth Freedom Camp. We slept here, we danced with the guys from the Smooth camp.
We are at the village of At20. We are staying with the youth of Sumud organization, who are showing us the different human rights violations that occurred in this area.
We are trying to understand how local people live in here, and what their needs and what they suffer the most.
And today we help them prepare the International Peace Day through building a peace sign that you can see over here with car wheels that we brought from downstairs, and we carried them back here for them to have a big view. They will be able to take a picture of it and participate in the International Peace Day.
After this, we will go around the different villages that are in this area, and we will spend another day here. And later we will meet a women cooperative that works here in Tawani.
I think that I need to help very much in the human rights sector. And I don't think I'll come to this part of the world, but I found out that I need to help also, and to help I think I'll go to my African part, because I think that we also need help. So I realized that I need to help, but I will not come to this part of the world. I'll just go to where I'm from, because we also need help. So it's like I'll try my best as a human rights defender to help my people. The most significant things I got from this journey is I need to do something. I have the possibility. I'm also motivated, and I have the condition, because I'm in a place where I can help people, because I'm in Europe, and so I learned that I can do this. This is what I got from it.
The most significant thing that I learned is to be patient, because it's something that I never thought about in this way. If you want to achieve something, sometimes you need to wait, you need to be patient, you need to do things with a lot of calm and resistance. And this is what I've learned, that we live in a world that can be very, very, very fast somehow, but there are some goals that you really need to take care about, and you really need to achieve with a lot of time. So to be patient and to be resilient in a way.
Our program was designed starting from the higher level in the multinational governance. That is, we started from our government, the Republic of Italy, the United Nations, and then going down until people, pastors, farmers, where they live in their farmland and villages.
For this study trip, I can't recommend enough, because there is literally 100 different angles that we've looked at within this time. We've seen every single possible perspective. We talk about multi-level governance, but really from every possible level and from every possible angle.
We put the ideas, the concepts, the laws, the international resolutions into reality. So from a theoretical background into practice. And at the end, I saw students day by day making this connection. Those who were not aware about the condition got knowledge about that. And those who were already involved somehow because of their bachelor's degree or their incoming thesis or just by their curiosity, they got more inspiration. They had, like in a puzzle, more pieces to put it in line all together.
I will recommend to all people to participate and to all students to participate in the study trip, because first of all it can be a challenge for you and you can change your mind completely.
And what it became at the end was, let's say, from one side a land where human rights are no longer effective, but from the other side, a great hopes for the future, because people here are not alone. A growing numbers of NGO international communities still are active. What is missing probably is an international awareness among citizens, normal people, not only high institutions. Here comes the duties of these students attending the course.
I would recommend this to every young person that needs to be informed about what is going on in Palestine. And specifically for people enrolled in our master, I think this is the chance to see how human rights are implemented or not implemented in practice, and after 2 years of theory, it's a chance to finally see a practice of human rights.
At the end, it is now beginning. So they are now human rights defenders, they are messengers, they are people who cannot be silent, and still, after having enjoyed and visited these people and this land.